Hello and welcome to our ear training video on dominant 7th chords. So today I'm going to be taking you through a few different exercises to improvise and hear better over dominant 7th chords. So make sure that you look at the link in the description to download your free sheet music for the key that your instrument is in. We have concert, B flat, and E flat. So let's get started. So what I wanted to do is first talk about what a dominant 7th chord is and why it is important to jazz in general. So a dominant 7th chord is when we have a major triad, and instead of having a major 7th, we flat the 7th. So that creates a flat 7. The dominant chord is also a 5 chord, so it's usually used to resolve to something, and it's a very important chord in a lot of jazz standards. If you are interested in learning how to improvise, you're definitely going to have to learn how to solo and hear over dominant 7th chords. So the first exercise I'm going to do, and you can follow down below, I am going to be showing it at the bottom of the screen in concert key, and it is going to be just arpeggiating a dominant 7th chord, and I'm going to be going around in the circle of fifths, which is a really important cycle and progression for learning jazz. And I'm going to be playing with a backing track that I'll also link in the description in case you'd like to practice with it. So I'm going to be going through the cycle and just going 1, 3, 5, flat 7 to arpeggiate. We're going to be adding some more various exercises, getting a little bit more complicated, and then adding some approach notes towards the end. So here we go. So feel free on your own to slow that down if you want, or even try it without the track. The eventual goal of this is to be able to get it memorized so that you can just look at the chord and be able to arpeggiate it without necessarily looking at the music. So that was 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Next, we are going to be going backwards, and we're going to be doing the same pitches, but in reverse order. So this is exercise number 2. We're going to go flat 7, 5, 3, 1. And the reason that we're doing this is because when we're improvising, we don't always want to start on the root all the time. We want to be able to start from any chord tone or area that we want. So this is flat 7, 5, 3, 1. So some modifications of that to make it easier or harder. You can just play the first note, like if you're trying to do it from memory, just play the 7th to hear how that is rather than the whole chord. And again, slowing down the tempo can be really helpful, just playing some of it. The more you do this, the more this is going to stick in your ear. You can also try singing through before you play it on your instrument. And also in terms of octaves, just play it in whatever range is comfortable on your instrument, so feel free to take things up or down. Okay, cool. So the next thing we're going to do, and this is going to get a little bit more complicated, is when we're soloing, it sounds cool to play the chord tones, but we want to add in other things to make our playing sound more linear or connect our ideas in a way that kind of gives our solo flow and makes it comfortable to approach the changes. So we're going to learn about a concept called approach notes that's really important for jazz, and I have another video about using approach notes over a specific song, Misty, so make sure to check that out if you're interested in learning more about approach notes. But what we're going to do is basically approach the note or the chord tones, those 1, 3, 5 flat 7s, by chromatic and a scalar approach. So the first one we're going to be doing is chromatic, which means I'm going to be playing a chromatic note below the chord tone, so a half step below each chord tone. And that is going to give my solo some momentum and also sound pretty cool. I'll just give an exercise of me playing it without the track. So again, if we take our concert C7 chord, if I approach it chromatically, so playing a half step below each note, it's going to sound like this. It starts to sound a little bit Pink Panther-like, the Mancini Pink Panther theme, which is actually pretty much all approach notes. So approach notes are also something that you'll see a lot in really great melodies to connect it and just make it a little bit more linear. So here is the approach note exercise, and what I'm doing is I'm starting on the upbeat, so I'm anticipating the chord tone that way. So here's exercise number 3, the chromatic approach note from below. Cool, so again, some modifications for this, doing it slowly without the track, or even just doing a couple notes. When I practiced this, when I first learned about approach notes for the first time and started really using them seriously in college, it really took me a while to work out and get it fast, the approach notes, because you not only have to think about the chord tone, but you have to think about how to approach it chromatically also. So it's okay if it takes some time, but through repetition and just doing these exercises multiple times, you will get the sound in your ear, and that will come out in your improvisation as well. So the next thing I'm going to do is do the 4th exercise. So now we're going to be doing a different kind of approach note, and we're going to be going scalarly, so picking a note from the scale from above. So the reason we want to go chromatic from below and scalar from above is just kind of how it resolves in terms of our rules of music. The chromatic note from above just kind of creates this nice leading tone into our chord tones, and approaching it with a scalar note from above also creates a nice sound. You can mix and match them also, which I'll demonstrate at the end. So I'm just taking a note from our from our dominant chord. It's the technical scale term is called mixolydian, and all that is it's a major scale with a flat 7. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just picking the note of that mixolydian scale to approach the note of the chord from above. So here we go. This is exercise 4. little bit harder than the previous exercises, and that's okay. So of course, you can do this from any of the chord tones. You could also reverse it where you're starting from the 7th and doing the same exercises. Let me know if you'd like, how that kind of felt for your level, if you want some more easier exercises, or if you want some more advanced exercises. The next thing I'm going to demonstrate is how you can kind of combine the approaches and then craft a solo out of it. So once you get comfortable with that, you can combine the chromatic and scalar approaches to form something that's called an enclosure. So for example, for the first scale, the first chord, I could do scalar from above and chromatic from below. Just play both eighth notes at once, and that would sound something like this. And that's called an enclosure. I can do that for the next one. I can add more notes. So if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know and I can make a follow-up advanced video. A book that's really helpful for that I worked in out of college is the Joe Viola Chord and Scale Studies. I will link that book down below. So now, okay, how do we apply it to improvisation? So we can use the approach notes to anticipate our solo in improvisation. So when you're first doing this, you could pick one, be like, okay, every chord, like every dominant chord, I'm going to do a chromatic approach note to the root, or the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th. So I will do an example of a solo, and I am going to try to hit I'll probably not do it every time, but at least in the beginning, I'm going to try to approach the 7th with a chromatic approach note, and that will kind of give some structure to my solo. So here we go. Did it every time I did the chromatic approach note with the 7th. So yeah, that was just over the cycle, the circle of fifths, but I also have a video doing it on Misty that you should check out on our channel. So let me know how this felt for your level, what you'd like to see some more ear training videos on. This is something that I've got a lot of questions about, so I'm trying to make some more content based on this. If this was helpful for you and you'd like some more specific guidance in your playing with some more structured classes, a video and ear training library, a tune of the month to keep you accountable, I run a program called Improv Academy. It's all online and it's a monthly membership. We have about 20 plus people in it right now, all different instruments from saxophone, clarinet, harp, brass instruments, piano, and we have live master classes, again, a tune of the month, and it's a really great place to just get some accountability on your playing and make some progress along with the community. I'll put some more info about that in case you're interested in joining the membership. I'd love to work with you that way, and I hope you found that helpful. Let me know how your dominant 7th ear training goes. Bye.